in the EPSCoR program, and for all of the work that they have done to bring together this incredible PI meeting. I hope that you all have enjoyed the past few days of presentations and workshops. And I would like to emphasize that you are all here today, and our EPSCoR programs across the country, you all play such a vital role to our nation's scientific community. EPSCoR's activities help to inform how we enhance research competitiveness and develop innovative infrastructure and frameworks to further strengthen the scientific enterprise. And EPSCoR also has the unique ability to drive research capabilities and enable the development of STEM pathways to education and the workforce. The impact of this work, your work, does not just contribute to enhancing the pipeline of individuals coming into the STEM community, but your work also has a significant impact on the socioeconomic progress and sustainability of EPSCoR jurisdictions around the nation. That is so important. As you all know, one of NSF's core goals is to promote the progress of science in ways that benefit and impact the lives of the US public. This program, the EPSCoR program, plays such a major part in helping us deliver on that promise. And over the past 5 years, EPSCoR has supported outreach to over 9,000 faculty in academic institutions, including more than 18,000 teachers and over 300,000 students. Those are amazing numbers through just this one program. Through EPSCoR, the National Science Foundation catalyzes the development of research across the country, creating sustainable scientific infrastructure and communities of innovation. Our director, Director Ponch, his vision has 3 pillars that drive the work here at NSF. And these 3 pillars are: 1, advancing the frontiers of research into the future; 2, ensuring accessibility and inclusivity; and 3, securing global leadership. EPSCoR's goals and the progress the program has made so far embody those 3 pillars and demonstrate the power of partnerships in achieving this mission. And partnerships is also a major strategy of our director. NSF's mandate is to promote science nationwide, and EPSCoR allows us to truly fulfill that duty, making sure that across the nation means across all of the nation, not just places that are fortunate enough to have extensive research infrastructure. For example, EPSCoR is able to do this by creating research and innovation centers focused on issues important to individual jurisdictions, many of which are aligned with each individual state's science and technology plans. And many of these jurisdictional science and technology plans underlying EPSCoR projects focus on driving scientific discovery to advance technological capabilities, spurring tech transfer initiatives. Another goal of EPSCoR is to impact research, education, and economic development beyond the academic, government, and private sector levels. How we manage our relationships and partnerships across disciplines and industry impacts the growth and the acceleration of science. This is a factor that we are always keeping in mind and is one of our many tools that informs how we invest our resources to address societal concerns and spur use-inspired innovations. We know that the uneven geographic distribution of STEM learning and opportunities across the United States is a challenge. This has continuously been a top priority for NSF, and EPSCoR is an integral part in ensuring access to STEM learning is not limited by an individual's geography or socioeconomic background, or in other words, their zip code. I know you have all had the chance to hear about our newest directorate from Erwin Gyanchandani earlier this week, and I'm so excited for how our new Technology, Innovation, and Partnerships, or TIP Directorate, will accelerate the great work we are already doing at NSF and the new opportunities that will arise because of it. One of the most promising aspects of TIP is the regional innovation engines. These engines will impact EPSCoR jurisdictions and states significantly, and we really expect them to do this because they are going to help accelerate and expand the capabilities and the capacities for innovation at the level of individual communities and region. These engines will empower use-inspired, solutions-oriented research and innovation in a range of technology areas. Could be things like artificial intelligence, quantum information science, and advanced wireless, as well as in a diverse set of national challenge areas, including climate change and biotechnology. The United States and many countries around the world are facing increasing competitiveness in research and innovation, and maintaining the United States' competitive edge takes a multifaceted approach, and it takes an approach that truly reaches all corners of our country. Earlier in the week, you also heard from our head of legislative and public affairs, Amanda Greenwell, and she was able to share with you some updates from the legislative side of NSF. Congress is currently working on negotiating a large competitiveness package that includes a reauthorization of the National Science Foundation. There are aspects of this package which will impact EPSCoR. We are looking forward to seeing what those negotiations will produce and updating the EPSCoR community as we learn more about these developments. I'd like to close today by thanking everyone here for their dedication to the EPSCoR program. The director and I are so proud of the tremendous accomplishments of everyone here and to hear about the positive impacts this program is having on EPSCoR jurisdictions around the country. Our nation's future health and competitiveness deeply depends on our ability to encourage and enable scientific progress and support all of our STEM-inspired individuals throughout each and every community. And you are helping us achieve that goal. So thank you very much, not only for your participation this week, but for the work that you do each and every day. I am looking forward to what the future of EPSCoR will bring. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Marangel. Thank you so very much for your remarks, and thank you for joining us today as we conclude our EPSCoR PI meeting, and certainly for your leadership at NSF. Are you able to stick around for a couple questions if there are any?
I am.
Okay, great, perfect. So colleagues, this is a rare opportunity that you have an opportunity to talk with our Chief Operating Officer. And so if you have questions, please either use the Q&A feature in Zoom or raise your hand, and we can elevate you so that you can come off mute and verbally ask your question. I know you know good wait time, Karen, so we'll
That's right.
I see Michael Consari has his hand up. Did you want to say something, Michael?
No, I think it's a mistake. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
While folks are thinking, Karen, I can kick it off. Can you say a bit more about NSF's new strategic plan and where do we see the agency going over this next few years as aligned with our strategic plan?
Yeah, it's a great question, Sandra. So yes, we issued a new strategic plan this year, which will take us through the next 4 years. And in this plan, we kind of double down on some of the traditional values in NSF and really seek to elevate, especially aspects of, as I was speaking about, reaching all persons throughout the country. So really reaching out to the missing millions, if you have heard that term throughout this week, ensuring that the diversity of the STEM workforce of the future reflects the diversity of our nation. And that diversity includes geographic diversity. So in our strategic plan, we are thinking hard about ensuring that we are really undertaking what we know are the best ways and exploring new ways to reach all individuals who want to, want to achieve their goals in STEM, and really enabling them to do that.
I don't see any questions coming in, Karen. I know this is rare for you, but you were likely overly comprehensive in your remarks. And so if no one has questions, we will again extend our huge appreciation to you. Thank you for visiting with us today, and wish you a wonderful remainder of the day.
Thank you. And thanks again to everyone here for all of the great work that goes on. And best of luck to everyone for your projects. And thank you for being here this week.
Take care. So Janae, I know we only have one session remaining to close us out, and I will defer to you if we want to take a break until that session is scheduled to start, or if we want to go ahead and do that now.
Sure. I know that our colleague Shane is on the line, and we did test everything, and I think we're ready to go. So Shane, if you'd like to come to the stage, we'll go ahead and get started with your updates on the national conference.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and share a few slides. That's coming through okay, I hope?
Yes.
So I'll give an update on the planning for the 27th National EPSCoR Conference, which was originally intended to occur last November, and it's now scheduled for upcoming November 13 to 16. Portland, Maine is a very eclectic community. The community's grown tremendously in the last 30 years or so. You know, I was a younger person growing up in that area several decades back. If you haven't visited Maine, and if you haven't visited Portland itself, this is an excellent website that I'll direct you to, and they have a lot of good content. It'll give you a comprehensive overview of the city. So please take a look. The main conference hotel is the Westin Portland Harbor View. There is a block room rate available there of $110 per night from the 13th to the 16th. We do have some rooms on a limited basis reserved for Friday, the 11th, and Saturday, the 12th. We are encouraged to do that to accommodate individuals flying in from great distance who'd like to arrive early and become climatized to the Eastern time zone. We are currently looking at the overflow situation, and that's probably something we'll have to just keep our eyes on from week to week. And as we gauge the number of attendees, this conference typically draws around 350 people. It'd be great to see an uptick, above that number. And we'll just keep working with hotels in the area to make sure that everyone has a good accommodation. In terms of traveling into Maine, the largest airport in the state is in Portland, Maine itself. And, they have good flight availability from most connections around the country. If you'd like to come in to an even larger airport, Logan is 1 hour and 45 minutes away in the heart of Boston. If you come into Logan, there's a very good bus system that will drop you at a bus station in downtown Portland itself. And there's also a train. The train has fewer options in terms of times of day. I've personally done the bus between Boston and Portland before. It's very efficient, it's very clean, and I would recommend it. The overarching theme for the event is translating stakeholder needs into impactful research outcomes, and important elements of that will be team science and community science. You'll see it exposed throughout the event in keynotes and breakout sessions. There's 5 threads for the event overall, and 2 of them are shown here with focus on student engagement and early career researchers, early career faculty. We're developing a strong agenda for the students. There's a powerful component of communicating science and media engagement. There's some additional work to do to finalize all the arrangements, of course, but we're progressing nicely at this point. For early career, there are several sessions organized around NSF EPSCoR RFPs, grant opportunities in terms of proposal writing and grant management, as well as some broader themes such as broader impacts. This early career thread serves double duty in that a request from NSF EPSCoR is to work hard to bring in first-time attendees. And that means reaching out to individuals and institutions who are not currently engaged with NSF EPSCoR programming. So we've been doing a lot of preparation work to commence a digital outreach campaign that should kick off next week even. We're looking at primarily minority serving institutions and EPSCoR jurisdictions. We have a list of about 1,000 names right now, and we'll be reaching out to those individuals. And my interest is to have an outreach kit and make that available to all of the other EPSCoR offices in the country, and encourage your participation, because I know everyone has very good social media networks and contact lists individually for your local areas, and having your participation will help secure this vision of a nice number of first-time attendees coming into the conference. Looking at the Sunday, which is the first official day of the event, there will be 2 different workshops. One's a full-day workshop. It's NSF EPSCoR sponsored cyber infrastructure led by Gwen Jacobs of Hawaii. And there's a half-day workshop on community science. Dr. Linda Silka from the University of Maine has had a very long and distinguished career with focus on community science. She's generously agreed to coordinate that workshop. In the evening on Sunday, there'll be a community science showcase and reception. If you've been to other national conferences, you have a feeling for what that should look like, but it's a nice way to start the event. On the main conference days, Monday and Tuesday, they're kind of split days, with the AMs being spent at Merrill Auditorium, which there's a photograph here, which is in Portland. The keynotes will be held here, and then in the afternoon, we'll head back to the main conference hotel, and the opportunity to jump into concurrent breakout sessions will be there. On Monday evening or late Monday afternoon, the student poster session will occur. And there's also going to be a networking event for first-time attendees, and that event is being coordinated by Lillian Gamache of Vermont. On Wednesday, there'll be a traditional PD-PA meeting. It's been a few years since we've done this physically, but I know many of you have been to these meetings in the past. We're going to try to break that by 1 o'clock with boxed lunches to allow people to get back to the airport and commence travel. To expand a bit on the afternoon breakouts, in addition to the early career and student-focused activities, there are 3 primary threads: workforce, research, and stakeholder engagement. These are running concurrently on both afternoons, and this design, the aim of the design is to allow good content, regardless of which part of the community you represent. There should be opportunities for content of interest to you throughout the afternoon, both days. So we've designed this looking carefully at feedback from previous national events. The workforce thread is being coordinated by EODs. Brent Ewers from Wyoming is one of the primary voices on the research design, and I'm working with him on that. And stakeholders will target more than one group, but an important group I'd like to give some attention to are state steering committees, state EPSCoR steering committees. And 2 of the sessions representative of that, one is on S&T plan development, another one is on state governance. We talked a little bit about state governance with steering committees at the Monday PD Council meeting. And just so everyone's aware, there's a follow-up discussion from that meeting occurring June 1 at 5 p.m. Eastern. And several people have already expressed interest to join that. So please jump into that discussion, because in some way, we don't know if we do launch a state governance workshop, it's likely to occur after this meeting. So this meeting in November could be kind of setting the stage for a more formal 1 or 2 day workshop. There is participant travel support. I'm using the word dignitaries here because I have interest in going broader than this, if at all possible. But every EPSCoR office will have the opportunity to identify 5 participants to essentially receive full travel support or near full travel support. And how those people are nominated and approved will mirror previous national conferences. I myself have been to 3, I think, and we've designed the process looking carefully at the last 2, Montana and South Carolina. So there's good information about this process at the event's website already, and we're going to be sending out a detailed email to other EPSCoR offices, should be early next week. This will give you an idea of the fee structure for the event. Relative to the last time I shared this information, things have crept up a little bit due to the inflationary trend we're at, in the country, and food pricing in particular, but we're working very aggressively to keep these fees at an affordable level to not be a barrier for first-time attendees to coming in. And, to close the point, we'll be looking at the participant funds available and try to make adjustments. And, if an EPSCoR office hasn't used all 5 in one jurisdiction, perhaps some of those funds could be reallocated to if another jurisdiction has a need greater than 5, say. So we'll be having ongoing communications and planning with all the EPSCoR offices nationally. Your help will be needed to make this work. And this is the last slide. It's just an overview from Portland, and this is taken more or less from, I think, over the main conference hotel to give you an idea of the layout of the city. The main conference hotel is only a few blocks from the waterfront. So there are many restaurants and establishments along the waterfront that are easy walk. There are many other hotels. There's probably 20 hotels within about an 8-block radius of the main conference hotel. So there should be plenty of opportunities for you to recreate in the evening, or, lots of different choices for accommodations if that's your preference. Something I remember from years ago, Ray Calloway, prior to the Montana National Conference, he was very kind and shared average temperatures for the month of the event. And I wanted to do that here just to give everybody some awareness. In recent years, Maine has been trending warmer. So I'm kind of, I'm thinking the last 3 years, if we had those numbers, they'd be larger than these numbers presented here. But the truth is, it could be anything from t-shirt weather to a heavy sweater or a coat. And we won't know until a few days before the event. So please think flexibly. It's very unlikely for there to be snow in mid-November in Portland, Maine. So I listed it because it's there as a metric, but I think it's extremely unlikely. Rain is not uncommon though in the fall season. In the top right of this slide, we're displaying the event website itself and the event's email address. Both are live right now. And we already have some individuals registering for the event, although it's really only been live for a little over a week. Please do register as early as you can. If you have any problems with any aspect of the website or registering, please use this email, and it's going to reach myself and several others in the main EPSCoR office. But let me pause there, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. I'll stop sharing.
So folks, if you have questions, feel free to either raise your hand or drop your questions into the chat, and we will be sure to get them answered.
While we're waiting, I'll just mention on a personal note, I hadn't done business travel by airplane for quite a long time. And a few weeks ago, there was an opportunity to attend a very good event called SSTI that was co-hosted by Arkansas EPSCoR. And it's the first time I'd been on a plane in a while. And I just wasn't sure how it was going to be, but things were very smooth in the airline terminals and on the flights themselves. The planes were full, I noticed. So there's a lot of movement and people are out and about already nationally. And that conference was such a positive experience for me. It's a good benchmark. It's the type of experience that I hope to recreate, that we hope to recreate here in Maine, University of Maine and Maine EPSCoR working collectively. It'll be very nice. This gathering, those here today, haven't been together face to face for the most part for a very long time. And these meetings present a very good opportunity to network and learn from people with more experience on various subject matter. I'm really excited to make this event available this fall. There is a student poster session on Monday, late afternoon.
Another question came in regarding the hotel. Did you mention the hotel is full already?
No, it's very much not full already, while I'm expecting it to become full. This is the better way for me to say it. And I just I'm only noting that because it would be helpful for people to not wait to the last second. Don't wait till November 11th to book the hotel, please. Because if we see that the main hotel filling up, we're already taking steps to identify overflow capacity with the assumption that attendance is going to be stronger than, say, it would have been if we ran this event, this current month, the month of May, and that was a plan, an interim plan. But I just want to monitor the level of enrollment and the room booking at the main event, and because we want to right size it and bring in overflow capacity at the right magnitude. I see someone asked about restaurant recommendations, and some are available through the event's website itself. Portland is one of the great food communities of the United States. They've been recognized nationally multiple times in the last decade with their cuisine. So a lot of that information is already available on dedicated websites. We've exposed some of that information through the event website itself. We should also do a better job. In one of the planning committee meetings in recent weeks, one of the individuals was asking about lobster. And I rarely eat lobster in a restaurant because it's often cooked poorly. In Portland, it should be better than average, but I'd like to, at minimum, have a few good recommendations for local seafood and have that available to all attendees. Make sure that if you opt for lobster, you don't get an overcooked lobster, et cetera.
There was a question regarding the poster session. Is there a limit or expected amount of students for the poster session?
The rule of thumb, and I know from past experience, this is a bit flexible. As designed, the assumption is 2 students per event. South Carolina, I think, originally started with 3, which was the last national conference 3 years ago. And some states didn't use that quota. And South Carolina did a very nice job in being proactive in reaching out, including the main EPSCoR, and said, if you'd like to bring in more students, you can. And we did exercise that. I'd like to have interactive, flexible management engagement with other offices just like that. So the starting rule of thumb is maybe 2 students per state with full travel support. But I'll be reaching out on an ongoing basis to identify, new opportunities with more funds.
There was a comment about recent airfare prices skyrocketing due to fuel costs, and a recommendation to start arranging travel as soon as possible. And Michelle has dropped a link to the Portland food map. So I think that'll be helpful as well in terms of restaurants.
I have a colleague here in Maine who's flying to Seattle in a few weeks, and due to the surge in domestic travel, he opted to fly out of Logan to head to the West Coast and found the fare much better. So that may be a consideration in whether you choose to fly directly into Portland or Logan. I cannot predict what's going to happen with domestic airfares. If a lot of this is being driven by the situation in Europe, and when that resolves, we don't know.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to share this information today. I think many here today are familiar with me because I've been in EPSCoR for a number of years now, but please don't hesitate to contact me at any point.
Thanks so much, Shane.
Thank you.
Okay, Sandra, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Thanks so much. So everyone, we have reached the end of our PI meeting for 2022. Thank you very much for your participation. A huge thanks to everyone who has had any help in planning and preparing for the meeting, and certainly all of our presenters, and most importantly, our attendees for making all this happen. So thanks all the way around. Shane, thank you for that wonderful presentation. And I think we're all looking forward to November and having an opportunity to interact with one another and extend this circle of folks who are here today, and especially see our students. So this will be great. I'll leave you because I know everyone probably wants to get to lunch or to next things on the to-do list today, but I'll just leave you with, in addition to my huge thanks, just a few general reminders. One is, remember that we will share all slides and recordings from presentations for the session within the next couple of weeks, and you'll automatically get an email when that information is available and posted on the conference website. So just as a reminder there. And then also, I just want to reiterate a couple comments that I've shared with you over the last few days. One is, I encourage you to continue to be an ambassador for EPSCoR, and that looks like many different things. Some of the ways that you can be an ambassador is certainly using your breadth of expertise and experience and the research that EPSCoR has funded to engage with other parts of NSF. So please consider all of these different funding opportunities that you've heard about over the past few days, to actually looking closer at them and engaging with program officers in those respective parts of NSF about how you can submit and be successful in some of those competitions. And then certainly I want you to stay engaged with EPSCoR as well. And again, there are lots of ways to do that. We just finished talking about the upcoming national conference, but there are other ways as well. So you know, continue to think about and to reach out to us if you're interested in serving as a reviewer for any of our programs. I was just simply delighted to hear about the interest in IPA opportunities in the last session with the program officers. And so keep that on your radar. IPAs are temporary appointments, and so we frequently have turnover there. And so we always post the announcements and try to make sure that we cast a very wide net of people who may be interested. And so stay on the lookout for that, for not only EPSCoR, but again, throughout NSF, there are lots of great opportunities for serving as an IPA. And then also just remember to follow up with your cognizant program officer. I always say that should be your first line of contact and communication. So build a good relationship with your cognizant program officer. If you have one already, continue to be engaged with them. We always like to hear from our PI community, believe it or not. So feel free to reach out to them with any follow-up questions or general comments, even if you have comments about the meeting. And remember, you'll have an evaluation that will come to you, and it looks like our meeting planners have just dropped it in the chat. So we encourage you to please click on that link and provide any feedback on your overall experience. So thank you all again. It has been a delight to interact with you, even though it was virtual. And I hope that each of you can carry away at least one action item from this PI meeting. Think about something that you want to do, something new, perhaps a new collaboration that you want to start, but some action item that hopefully each of you can carry away from the meeting and implement to not only serve the EPSCoR program, but serve our general broad community as well. So I'll leave you there and wish you all a wonderful day, and look forward to seeing you at our next gathering. Have a great one.